Welcome to the latest edition of MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by DeVille and Fusco Insurance. Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, and I think Hector Longo has just entered the building.
Well, you said a week ago that I was walking in all the time 2 minutes before it started. I wanted to test.
Well,
I wanted to test that today, so I pushed it to 26 seconds.
Well played. Well played. So,
can we talk 1 second though? Seriously, I live 3 miles away from here, and I think I got lost. I've lived in this valley for 52 years of my 52-year life, and I got lost between here and West Haverhill. This is amazing.
So if you would have met at this Al's Diner, though, you wouldn't have been lost.
So, a huge week in the MVC. Pivotal, as they call it on in golf. They call Saturdays on golf moving day. A lot of moving within the conference this week. So a couple of pivotal games. Methuen, Haverhill, just an emotional game. Ended up being a classic. Methuen just keeps on keeping on. 3-1 now, and just keeps pulling out some real tight wins. I haven't done the math on the last 3 games here, Bill, other than week 1, but some tight games.
No, absolutely. We'll get into the nuts and bolts, and all that. I just want to talk about how, the week before you have the tragedy with the gas, travesty, and this week the young girl from Haverhill that loses her life in the car accident, and the incredible game, the plays, and all that. But what those Haverhill students and that student body did to pay honor to and tribute to that girl last night at the end of the game was amazing. You saw an incredible effort in this game on the field, and the second after it ended, those Haverhill kids stormed that field and paid an incredible tribute that was not organized or planned, but it was just moving.
Yeah, the loss of Jordan Rankin. That was a very, very sad thing this week. Affected basically the whole city.
And afar, a lot of girls from Methuen, other towns know her because of being such a great athlete.
Absolutely.
So she touched a lot of lives outside of Methuen, outside of Haverhill as well.
And during the game, as we saw, the student section did not get up for 1 second the whole game. They marched in with signs saying "For Jordan." When Haverhill made the comeback, you started hearing the Jordan chants, and then even after the game, even after the circle, I'm watching Tom Ryan give just a very
it was emotional,
emotional, incredible speech to his kids, just about how this is more than life. I mean, life. There's more than football going on here, and as proud as I am of you for the way you performed, I'm proud of the way that you represented, and that you were respectful, and that we were able to honor this girl and this situation, and then to have the students come up during the speech. A bunch of the students came up and just yelled in, saying, "Thank you, Methuen. Thank you, Methuen." Everybody hugging each other. Tough moment. You have kids at all, as all 3 of us do. Tough moment to think about as a parent. Our hearts go out to the Rankin family and to the whole Haverhill community, and just could not have been classier, could not have been more of a moving tribute last night. And for a little bit there, it looked like karma, a miracle was in the offing. Even when Methuen drove down the field to go ahead, Haverhill came right back down, got to the 20-yard line, had had 2 shots at the end zone, and it just, it was Methuen's night in terms of the school board, but it was really something, and it reminds you just the context, Hector.
So, Bill, Tim and I had 6,347 conversations before putting this thing together, trying to put this thing together, piece things together. And I think one of the things I said to him back then was, I don't want it just to be, let's slap it together and pat the coach on the back just to fill time.
Scores and highlights, and we're out.
But I didn't want to just fill time and make with deadlines that meant nothing. Okay, so I really want to preface this when I say it. You could not have 2 better guys than Tim O'Connor and Tom Ryan in a situation like that. Heck, leading your child through a high school football season, in your case, Bill. Those 2 guys, and give credit to the 2 ADs at the schools at the time who hired them, okay? They're leaders of young guys. Now, I am very, I love my generation of people, as most people do, so I kind of give it to the younger-ish coaches who think they know it all, and the old guys who have been through it all. So I like my generation kind of right in the middle. But honest to God, Tommy and Tim O'Connor are 2 quality leaders of men. Like, I can only tell you from personal experience with Tim, things I've asked of him, trying to help my son push him through school, help him this and that. Tim's been great. And honest to God, there's a reason he's at Haverhill High, and has been there for 9 years. And I firmly believe that he's there to help kids, and he does help kids. So I just want to, both guys. I've known Tommy forever, and Tim I've gotten to know so well. Those guys, you couldn't have 2 better coaches in such a real cruddy situation.
Yeah.
And very happy to see the way that our city had behaved and handled this situation, and the way, again, it doesn't surprise me that the Merrimack Valley has treated it.
And I guess that was my point to start, is there's some great football going on, but each week, things that have, some adversity has gotten in the way, and people have just stepped up and done an awesome job. And I keep going back to Tewksbury was just classy in the stands and had a great night that game. And here we go, Haverhill, they have, a student section of like 75 kids, and they did not stop cheering. And we have our halftime bubble blitz, and one of the Haverhill kids was able to get in, 18, sign the permission slip, end up winning the whole thing. They were going crazy. There was just some nice love between the 2 towns. But there was also a pretty darn good football game.
Very fierce rivalry, too. Honest to God, those kids get after it.
No, they do. And there was some smash mouth football as well.
I mean, they're very good football. Like if we're talking about Haverhill on the upswing, it was on full display last night. As Tim O'Connor said to us, they are what they are in terms of just the smash mouth, just running up the middle, stop us. That is what it was. They came into a couple situations where they had to pass, but it was all run, and it was impressive. David Carrero got it going in the second half. They went up. Hillies went up 10-0. Methuen answers back. After the half, first 2 drives, they go up. They go up 21-10, first 3 drives, and then the inexperience of Methuen comes out a little bit in terms of some errors, a fumble, an interception, and and Haverhill answered. Went up 2 minutes? Yep. 2 minutes to go, 24-21, and again, as inexperienced as they were in those moments to give up those 2 touchdowns, Methuen answered right back with a phenomenal touchdown drive of their own. So, just hats off to Tom Ryan's crew, to one Connor Bryant as QB1 of Methuen. We will have Connor on at 10:30. Here's your lineup today. We're going to have John Dubzinski on from North Andover. Huge win for North Andover, 40-20 over Tewksbury last night. So North Andover stays undefeated at 4-0. Tewksbury suffers their first loss. And again, just, we knew this was going to be a game, a big game in terms of just the class structure of the conference, and it didn't disappoint. So we're gonna have the coach on at 10:15. We're gonna have Darren Watson on roughly around 10:45. So there's your lineup of guests today. Let's talk about the games a little bit. We mentioned it already, and by the way, you can see it on the screen if you're watching. If you're watching live, if you're watching on demand, we're going to keep the poll up through the end of the week. We'll announce the results on next Saturday's show, but vote for the MVC MVP of the week on Twitter, on the MVC Gridiron Weekly Twitter account, MVC Gridiron Week. Vote for the MVP. We got 4 candidates up there. If you think somebody else should be up there, let us know that as well in the replies. But yeah, we'll do that each week, starting this week up on Twitter. So vote for the MVP of the week. Some candidates in the Methuen Haverhill game for sure, Bill. Just in terms of the stats, Ricky Brutus again. Just a monster game. 18 rushes, 171 yards. Does that sound right to you?
It seemed a little high to me.
It does seem high.
Yeah. I was just saying to Tim before, it's hard to get the stats, like whose responsibility is that? But I'm gonna defer to you with the stats, especially with my kid on the team. I'm trying to be neutral, because honestly, what I want to talk about a little bit is a little bit on the coaches right now. At 3-1,
Yeah.
Coach Ryan on the video said, moving forward, the new kids have to really start stepping up. The fourth quarter, to me, they answered, but both teams hurt themselves with penalties.
Oh yes.
And as you start to get a good record in the MVC, and you start to hit the better teams, the teams that have good records, those penalties, they have to go away
At playoff time, yeah,
Absolutely.
When you turn the page on the league, and you head into the playoffs where it's won and relegated to the pool play.
Yeah.
If you lose, honest to God, it's those can be brutal, and
there was a couple of 15-yard penalties that really impacted the end of that game, and they gave gifts to each other.
Dumb
personal foul, late
dumb
hits,
personal on the sidelines. And it's and again, you can see that video. We interviewed Coach Tom Ryan, we interviewed Kareem Coleman and Ricky Brutus, and then we interviewed Connor Bryant. You can see those videos on MVC Gridiron Weekly, Facebook and Twitter.
And that's where we'd like other towns to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Interview some coaches and players and send it in. We're not going to be able to get around, but we know this is going on at other towns. Send it in and let's get it out there.
Absolutely. Or just retweet it to us at MVC Gridiron Week, and we'll definitely get it on, and we'll spread the word. That's what we're here to do.
So guys, talk to me now. Bill, obviously Methuen has won 15-round slugfest with Tewksbury away from being a perfect 4-0.
Yeah.
How good is this team? I want to know how
They
good
still
are they?
have not played a 44-minute game.
No, I'll agree, but to answer I think they have some talent.
Yeah.
I think that the senior class that sat out last year because of the very talented senior class, I think they're hungry. I mean, Isaac Frederick didn't play last night. He was their Ironman guy for the off season. One of their non-captain captains that really stepped up. He's had an injury, was out. That's a huge loss for Rulo. One of their best two-way players was battling a little injury and was able to gut it out. Their line that was devastated, led by Aaron Surth, is really playing some excellent football. You can't run the ball as much as you are without having some just absolute beasts up front taking care of business. I think it's making the play when they have to. It's playing the whole game. As corny as it sounds, it's what we keep talking about. If they're able to put together a full game, they should be able to beat some of these top teams if they play mistake-free, because they are showing some tremendous maturity at the end of the game. 2 comebacks against 2 MVC teams is huge.
It's interesting you say that. Teams that have so many fresh faces usually aren't that good on the line. Like I think we talked to Coach Adamopoulos how it takes time for lines to develop. That front, man, those guys, McKinnon, Surth, Ferrulo, and company, honest to God now here, this is...
against a Haverhill team, and offensive line, defensive line, you know...
It's experienced.
It was impressive.
It's been all year, though, Tim, too.
Yeah.
It's not,
no, this isn't a fluke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. You're seeing the scores on the screen. Again, huge thanks to Chris Calisi for the scoreboard. You're seeing the scores in the corner. We'll go a little bit more through the games. We're going to take a quick break right now. We've got Coach John Dubzinski on the line from North Andover. We will get to the Scarlet Knights' big win over Tewksbury right after the break here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and Fusco Insurance.
Everyone is cashing in on social media, and all marketing roads lead through social media. If you want to make a splash here in the Merrimack Valley, you need to tap in. This is where the new CEM podcast studios come in. Of course, you can spend your time, energy, and money learning how to wrangle technology to make a podcast instead of running your business. Or you can invest in telling everyone in the Merrimack Valley, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, the Seacoast, or everywhere in the world about your great business, product, service, or yourself. The CEM Podcast Studio is a local audio and video studio dedicated to the craft of podcasts. Their studios feature state-of-the-art recording and mixing equipment designed specifically to produce the best audio and video podcast. Best of all you need to worry about is your show, your business, and your brand. We do the rest. Call 978-686-9966. That's 978-686-9966 to schedule a no-obligation tour of the CEM facilities and meet with a podcast specialist. Or go to CEMpodcast.com to find out more about podcasting services. CEMpodcast.com, your window to the world.
I love talking about my man, Val Davila. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now Right in Place Insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and Mapfre, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? Davila and DeFusco prides itself in having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or visit them online at daviladefusco.com. Yeah. MVC Gridiron Weekly, we're back at it. I get jazzed up when I hear the music. When the NFL Films music. I know we want more music. We'll get more music. But back here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. On the line with us now, the head coach of the North Andover Scarlet Knights. They of the 4-0 record after a 40-20 win over Tewksbury.
Highly ranked.
Highly ranked. And
critically acclaimed.
Critically acclaimed and likely highly ranked, if that's a word, after this week. Coach John Dubzinski, how are you, sir? It's Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, Hector Longo here on MVC Gridiron Weekly.
Guys, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me on. I love listening to your show. You guys do a great job.
Hey,
love what you guys do with high school football, so thank you.
And listen, when I hit you up on Twitter last night, thank you. I mean, you take a shot on Twitter, but I thank you huge for coming on this morning.
The next morning, so it was.
And honestly, Coach, thank you for what you're doing just in terms of on social media, in terms of publicizing the team. I think it's just the more that we can get the word out, and the more we have coaches like yourself that embrace social media, I think it's nothing but a good thing.
We think it's an important part of coaching nowadays. It's just, you really got to do a great job marketing your program. Anything, with your team, with your high school, with your community, I think that needs to be, disseminated.
Cell issues.
Whenever anything happens, you really try to get that out. We have a lot of great kids and a lot of great things happen, and
You know, let me call him back.
Yeah,
Let's call
him back. Got some cell issues on that connection. We'll call the coach back.
I just want to add to what he's talking about. I think it's coaches like, you know, Hector, you were talking earlier about your generation coaches. I'm a little much younger. Just kidding.
Truly.
Yeah.
The players today are different.
Yeah.
So how you connect to them and how you reach out to them is really through social media, through texting. So that's kind of a new wave of what's happening here, because you said it last time. These kids are watching plays all over the country and mimicking and copying.
Huddle. I mean, you name it. The options for them now.
Look, it can be brutal in sync a program, social media, but man,
Yes.
it's such a weapon too as a coach.
Absolutely. I mean, and you know, it's how you choose to use it. Are you going to use it for good? Are you going to use it for evil? Are you going to block out the evil? But I think we got Coach back on the line. Coach.
Guys, I apologize for that. I'm just in a bad area here. We're at an apple orchard right now, apple picking actually.
Nice, very nice. You at Smolak, or where you at?
We're at I'll plug it. It's a place in North Andover called Boston Hill Farm.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, absolutely plug it.
Yeah, it's awesome. But anyways, yeah, so.
Try the cobbler, best in the Eastern States.
Cobbler's good, huh?
The social media, yeah, I think it's an important part of being a coach nowadays. You know, we have so many great kids. We have so many good things that happen, and you want to get that out. You want people to hear about it. So, I think that's part of the coaching responsibility in the 21st century now.
Coach, you got a lot of weapons in your arsenal, and a new one kind of stepped into the void last night. Freddie, is it Gabin or Gabin?
It's Gabin, yeah. Gabin.
5'8", 165-pound junior. Filling in for J.D. Allen, and then he goes off for 136 yards, 2 TDs.
Freddie was, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, Freddie was. So we had an injury with J.D. Allen. J.D. Allen, he was out the whole week. He was banged up from the Central game, and you know, and we basically sat down and told Freddie, said, Freddie, here you go. Here's your shot. I mean, you don't get a lot of shots like this, and you know, we want you to. We're not looking for anybody to. We're not looking for a step backwards here. We're looking for the guy just to step in and have the same type of production as we've had all season. And he says, "Absolutely, coach. I'm all in." You know, and that was by far the best week of practice he had all season, and he ran great. I mean, he made great moves in the open field. You know, he didn't go down with the first hit. He kept his feet chugging, and he really did a great job carrying us in the second half.
It's got to be great for you as a coach to see those practice weeks translate on the field, to just be able to show that to your kids.
It's great, you know, and it's a good lesson for kids. Like, if you're not starting at the beginning of the year, or if you're not starting the first couple of games, that's not etched in stone. You know, a lot of kids think that, and they kind of get down on themselves and whatnot, but I mean, he came in, he's got a positive attitude every day. He's a very good player, and he's behind some very good players, you know, at the beginning of the season. And he just kept working. He just kept taking the coaching, and, you know, things happen, and when things happen, you take advantage of your opportunities, and he really did. So it's a great lesson for kids who, you know, aren't seeing the time that they think they should be seeing, that there will be a shot. You just got to take advantage of it.
And be ready.
Right, exactly.
So, John, if I've talked to 20 coaches in the preseason this year, at least 20 of them said depth was an issue in high school football these days. Does it surprise you at all that a kid like this stepped in so on such short notice and so quickly and was so productive? I mean, that kind of speaks to your depth as a program, no?
Yeah, no, we have a lot of great athletes in the program. We do. The kids, you know, like I said, every day they love football. I mean, from day one, even in the offseason, you can tell. I mean, there's a bond there. The kids hold each other accountable. We have a lot of kids who can do a lot of different things, and that is a kind of a challenge, you know, because you want to make sure that they're getting out there, they're getting their reps, they're getting their touches, but you know, but by the same token, there's only one ball, you know, and you know, we just try to tell the kids every time there's going to be shots, there's going to be opportunities, and you know, then Freddie, like I said, took advantage of that. But like I said, the preseason, the kids have done a great job. The practices, they do a great job. They love football, and then they hold each other accountable, and they push each other. And the coaching staff does a great job. The assistant coaches are amazing, you know, getting the kids ready mentally, physically, and they prepare them well. And some guy goes down, the next guy goes in, and he knows the full arsenal of plays. So it's we're very lucky. We have kids who really buy in, and they're very coachable. We're blessed to have these kids.
So just following up on that, John, now you look at Methuen and you see 95 kids on the sideline. You say your program, you have a ton of kids that love football, and I'm reading and watching on television, seeing features that numbers are dropping. Is there some magic formula, John? Have you found a way to adapt to keep kids involved? Is it quality?
I mean, numbers are dropping, and it's not just a Massachusetts thing. I think it's a nationwide thing, and it's some communities really love football. They get behind their football team. They get behind their sports. North Andover, it's a town that loves football. I mean, if you go to the games, it's an electric atmosphere every Friday night. The kids feel that they're a part of something special. They're a part of something that's bigger than them. The coaches, every day we try to be as enthusiastic and as positive as possible, so we make the kids feel special. And, we hope that trickles down and it becomes infectious and the kids really love being part of the team. We try to give as many kids a niche as possible in the program. So, we had 35 freshmen sign up, which was the most we've ever had. So I think it helps when you're successful too.
Yeah.
The kids did a phenomenal job last year. We had a good season, and I think that spreads, from the top down. So hopefully next year we'll get a good amount of freshmen too. So we're very, very happy with the numbers we have. We're lucky, and the town really, they get behind the football team. It's a great place to coach, that's for sure.
Coach, you feel like beyond the concussion narrative that's obviously out there, you feel like there's a new wave that we're teaching, that we're focusing on the right way to tackle, we're focusing on the right way to play. You feel like there's a next wave coming?
I don't know if it's hit its peak or whatnot, or if it's going to continue to decline. That I can't answer. I'm not sure.
I'm more meant on the Renaissance side in terms of as we teach, as we really focus on the right way to hit and hopefully get away from this concussion narrative, that we can start to get the kids back into it.
Right. We do. Fundamentals of tackling and blocking. We tell the kids. Football has changed 1,000% with the X's and O's and whatnot, but usually 90% of the time, the team that wins is the team that blocks better, tackles better, and is just more physical. So every day, we tackle every day. Not live tackling, but we do form tackling. We don't always go body to body. We hit bags and whatnot, but we really do our best to be, to use the right technique and bringing a kid down. We don't put kids in a position where they're going to get injured in practice, but the coaches, they research right ways to tackle. Whether you're a cornerback, a down lineman, or a linebacker, and every day we just focus on those details.
Coach, real quick, Hector and I were talking a little bit earlier about mistake-free football, costly penalties. At 4-0, talk a little bit about your team and why you're playing mistake-free football and how that's been helpful.
Oh God! If you consider that mistake-free football,
all relative, Coach.
That's a pretty good second quarter, though, Coach.
All relative, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, absolutely. It's preparation and practice. That's the thing. The kids, we have a script. This is what the plays we're going to run, and we're going to run it until it looks great. Practice, and then that's it. So we're real sticklers with it. We really try to be as attention to detail as possible, and put the kids in the right positions to be successful. But like I said, I have the best assistant coaches, and they do a great job with their positional coaches, with their positional players every single day. So we like to think we're well prepared for every situation we got.
All right, John. So in my constant attempts to try and stir the pot here, I will ask one tough one and ask you don't go all Belichick on me and tell me that you'll play whoever is in front of you. I have often lobbied that North Andover is the one outlier here. Why aren't you guys in the same division with Andover Central? Why don't we just go geographically in the MVC and end this kind of you on the other side kind of thing? It just bugs me. I'm sorry. I just want to know your opinion on that. You're not alone. Would you rather be on this side? Would you rather be on the what I would call the cool side of the river?
Silence.
So, do we lose, Coach?
Oh my God!
I don't think so, but maybe.
All right, I'm sorry.
Hey, John.
Am I still here?
Yeah. You are. Yep.
Hey, John.
Okay. So, that's a league decision. It was based off of enrollment. I think they wanted to make that permanent thing where it wasn't switching back and forth every 2 years, and I guess they wanted to be consistent. But, we scheduled Central, we scheduled Lowell as our non-league games, and I thought that was a huge upgrade for our schedule. And we're not. I told the kids in the offseason, I go, guys, we got 2 open dates. We can schedule Central, Lowell, or we can go for a team that's maybe a lower division that might be a more winnable game. And the kids said, absolutely, we want to play Central, we want to play Lowell, we want to challenge ourselves because, that's a good litmus test for our program.
So I think that's pretty much your answer to your question.
I believe basketball's in the I think basketball's in the quote-unquote large. Lacrosse, I believe, is in the quote-unquote large. But, but hey, the small is a very, very good.
No,
man.
People.
There's no. In my personal opinion, I don't think there's any easy games. I mean, every coach does a phenomenal job, and the kids are tough, and there's a lot of great athletes in the small. So, that is definitely not an easy road.
Chelmsford played Lowell tough last night, even though it was a win, and I mean Drake off to an unbelievable start. I mean,
yes, they are.
We've gone 30 minutes and haven't mentioned Drake.
I know. I mean Drake is just playing amazing ball right now.
Have you had a chance to look at them at all, John? Have you seen them at all?
Have I seen them? No, we haven't had a chance. We haven't had. We're playing them in a couple weeks, so we really haven't focused too much on them. We've just seen the scores, and it doesn't surprise us. We knew they'd be very good, just based off of what they've done in the past and the kids they brought back. So we knew before the season that they'd be a very, very good team.
Coach, I mean, it's easy to pump up the offensive stars. I mean, Freddie, we put him on our MVP vote. We very easily could, and we will add Darren Watson to the MVP vote for this week. Gabe, a great game, but I mean, your defense. Mark Federico, huge fumble recovery, 28-yard TD return. Your defense, allowed 1 first down in the second half, 98 total yards of offense from Tewksbury in a potent Tewksbury attack. Tell us a little bit about how this defense just keeps coming on.
They are flying to the ball. I mean, we put the best tacklers and the smartest kids out there, and it starts with the kids up front. We have four great D linemen, and they do a great job of maintaining the gaps. The linebackers really attack the line of scrimmage, and having that, our secondary kids, they not only are they great in coverage, they buy into stopping the run too. Like our safeties, Gabe D'Souza, he comes up like a missile. Mark Federico, he comes up like a missile. They're very, very physical. So they're playing very well. They're very well coached. Mike Barry, the defensive coordinator, he is a phenomenal defensive mind. So, and the kids feed into it. Coach Cerullo, he's a secondary coach. He has those kids playing. Coach Van Horn, he's a D-line coach. He has those kids playing. And it's whenever we go to defensive session in practice, it is the loudest part of our practice. The kids are jacked up. They love playing defense. So, and we bring a lot of kids back from last year. We bring 8 kids back from last year on defense. That also helps too. So, we just, like I said, we just got to keep working, and keep working on getting better. We don't want to end the season with 4 wins, so we want to keep working to get better on defense and on offense.
Coach, real quick, the players that don't end up on the stat sheet probably never will all season long. We call those the unsung heroes. Name a kid or two that just practice-wise show up, game-wise show up, but just won't ever get that stat. Who's a couple kids in your team that need to be mentioned for that?
The kids who don't get the notoriety of the limelight, guys like Matt Samanuk. Matt Samanuk is he's a 3-year starter. He's an inside linebacker. He's the center. He is a captain. He's an AP student, and he's a coach's dream. He's amazing. Keegan Hardacre, another senior linebacker, doesn't say anything, does what he's asked. He's a lunch pail guy. Mark Federico, you kind of say this is the best season he's had in his career. He's doing a great job. And then like the interior guys, Thomas Fant, senior, does a great job. Raphael Usaman, he does a great job. Billy Reed is a kid that you don't really read much about. He plays offensive guard. He plays defensive end, linebacker, same thing. He's like the Lou Merlone. He'll go anywhere where you need him. Guys like that. Those are we have great seniors. We have great skill, but kids like that, those are the X factors in games like that.
We know that's a tough spot to ask coaches because you want to get every kid's name in there, but we want to get some of the unsung heroes out there too. So we appreciate you going there,
John.
Those kids deserve it.
John, any strategy today on the apple picking? Do we go strictly to the Macintoshes?
I'm going to go. We're going Macintosh.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. So we're going to go straight Macintosh, and it's whatever at this point, it's the honeydew day. It's honeydew this, honeydew that. So it's whatever it's whatever the bride says.
We stay away from the low-lying fruit, though. We definitely get up in elevation.
No Granny Smith. Exactly.
Now, are you, as you're doing the apple picking, are you watching a little huddle on the phone? Are you sneaking in some tape review during the
Only
picking?
when the wife's not looking.
Yep,
When the wife's not
absolutely.
looking, I'll sneak a couple. I'll sneak a couple slides when the wife's not looking.
Well played. Coach,
Yeah, no.
Coach John Dubzinski from North Andover, huge thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Before we let you go, anything else that you want to get out there that we haven't asked you since you came on, and we hugely appreciate it?
No, it's just hey, I can't say enough good things. I my previous job, I coached in the Middlesex League. That was a great league, but I firmly believe this is the best. This is the best conference, I think, in the state. Outside of the Catholic Conference, is the best public school, conference across the board, all sports. And I'm very lucky to be a part of it. Very lucky to coach in it. It's great coaches, phenomenal athletes, and it's just great. It's a great atmosphere to be a part of it. And you guys do a great job broadcasting it.
Yeah,
so
Just a quick favor, make sure you tweet this out and
spread the
share
word.
this on Facebook. And
Always.
For me, the whole involvement is the unsung kids you talked about. There's enough little press clippings here and there for the kids that score the touchdowns and whatnot, but the kids that you just talked about, the senior, center, 3-year captain, AP athlete, those are the kids that really I want to give my time to get some recognition and get some things out there for those guys.
Yeah. I mean, we were starting with football just to promote the league, promote the coaches, the players, the volunteers. Hopefully, moving on beyond football, but huge, guys like yourself that put all the time in during the week and then are available to come on a Saturday morning.
While apple picking.
Yeah, while apple picking. That's huge.
It's our pleasure. It's my pleasure. We love it.
All right, Coach.
Nobody likes high school football more than me. My father's a high school football coach for 35 years, and that's how I grew up, and I think it's very, very important. It's love being a part of it.
Phenomenal. That's Coach. Get to the apple picking.
You got it.
And we'll talk to you down the road. Huge congratulations, thanks for coming on to MVC Gridiron Weekly.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a great week.
You too.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Thoughts?
Have we not said enough about Tewksbury in this one? And this is a good Tewksbury team that North Andover just took out. That's my only thought about that right now. Just as I was looking at a couple of notes from the game, that was a good Tewksbury team that they handled.
Oh yeah. And Tewksbury was ahead. And Tewksbury got the momentum in the start, and then North Andover just put it on in the second quarter, and got Tewksbury on their heels. But I mean, beyond that, like you said, that I don't think the score is indicative of what Tewksbury is.
Tewksbury went into BC High and shut out BC High. You're not going to find a tougher place to play than that. And all of a sudden now, North Andover put 40 on them. That's a testament to how good North Andover is.
Let me ask you, though, how much of an impact is it Gabe D'Souza? We talked about the Central, how Central shut him down and whatnot, but how much do you have to dedicate? I mean, he has 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions, 50 yards, and a 25-yard field goal.
Yeah. I'm told Gabe didn't like your use of the word "shut him down" last week. Or that might have been my use of the word.
I think it was yours.
Oh, that was you.
That's why I was putting it back to you. So how much did Tewksbury have to focus on him to allow a Freddie Gaben to be able to run wild like that when you have such an impact player like that? And that's where I feel like Methuen, you asked me that question, where Brutus does give you that opportunity, and now with I hate to say, with Bryant being able to sling the ball a little bit and run himself, that gives you that dual threat.
Yeah.
It gives everybody else the opportunity. So he finds Coleman in the end zone because you're focused on, you don't know what's coming at you. But
a lot of weapons with those guys over at North Andover. A lot of weapons. So.
I don't know D'Souza as well as you. How much of an impact for a defense?
I see his the heart playing through and I don't want to go back to basketball because we're getting ahead of ourselves, but you watch him play basketball and you go, oh my God, this kid is he's just
intense.
A grit type, a solid kid that is going to come to play. You knew he was going to bounce back from a 4-catch, 26-yard week. You just knew it, and I guess Tewksbury was the wrong place, wrong time for that to happen.
And we don't even mention Jake McElroy in the middle of this, but I mean, Jake's leading the team. The stats didn't jump off the sheet this week, but I mean,
doesn't care.
He's the leader.
Doesn't care, just a facilitator. So what? We won. Put another one in the book of a 4-0. That's Jake's attitude.
Yep.
So, quality kids. This is a really cool group. It really is over there.
And so we are going to switch gears. We've got. Let's take a quick break, Lou. Quick break. We'll come back. We've got Connor Bryant on the line, quarterback for the Methuen Rangers, the 3-1 Methuen Rangers. We'll talk to him after the break here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. I love talking about my man Val Davila. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now Right in Place Insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and Mapfre, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? Davila and DeFusco prides itself in having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or visit them online at daviladefusco.com.
Everyone is cashing in on social media, and all marketing roads lead through social media. If you want to make a splash here in the Merrimack Valley, you need to tap in. This is where the new CEM podcast studios come in. Of course, you can spend your time, energy, and money learning how to wrangle technology to make a podcast instead of running your business. Or you can invest in telling everyone in the Merrimack Valley, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, the Seacoast, or everywhere in the world about your great business, product, service, or yourself. The CEM podcast studio is a local audio and video studio dedicated to the craft of podcasts. Their studios feature state-of-the-art recording and mixing equipment designed specifically to produce the best audio and video podcast. Best of all you need to worry about is your show, your business, and your brand. We do the rest. Call 978-686-9966. That's 978-686-9966 to schedule a no-obligation tour of the CEM facilities and meet with a podcast specialist. Or go to CEMpodcast.com to find out more about podcasting services. CEMpodcast.com, your window to the world.
Back on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. Also, big shout out to another one of our sponsors, Jen Hamilton, the realtor, the go-to for you. She is with Keller Williams Realty. Listen, the fall market is in full swing, and whether you're buying or you're selling, it's a crucial time as we start to get into winter. You want to get a house. You want to sell a house ahead of the winter. Jen Hamilton is your go-to. She's been a huge supporter of the Valley for a long time. Huge supporter of athletics. Huge supporter of us with Loop Weekly, and now with MVC Gridiron Weekly. Give her a call, 508-954-7941, 508-954-7941. She is the difference maker when it comes to real estate, folks, and she will deliver for you. You can also email her at jennifer.bauer9@comcast.net and jenhamilton.com. For the website, you can see a little bit more detail on Jen, but huge thank you to Jen and all the work she does in the Valley, and put her to work for you. She will get the job done for your home buying or selling needs. That's Jen Hamilton, 508-954-7941. All right, switching gears a little bit, we have on the line with us. So what do we do here, Bill? Do we put earmuffs on you during this, or just Hector and I with this? All right, we'll do.
I might ask
a
question.
So we have.
We know he's not going to give you a true answer, Bill.
Oh, we know that.
We've got Connor Bryant, the quarterback of the now 3-1 Methuen Rangers. Connor, welcome to MVC Gridiron Weekly.
Thank you very much.
So 3-1. Another comeback win last night a lot of emotion in Nicholson Stadium last night. Tell us just in terms of you get down 10-0, you come back there, you get down late in the game. Tell us just what it took to bring that team down for the game-winning drive.
Just like fixing mental things, and like we've just known throughout all the off season, just like adversity can't bring us down, and we just can't let 10 points lose a game for us. And we know that 10 points is quick for us to score, so we can't like really let that kill us and kill our momentum. So.
In Connor, I'm curious right now to know, because your 3-1 is a little bit of a surprise to me. When things started back in August, did you think after September here we'd be 3-1? When you kind of looked ahead, being honest with yourself, obviously you thought you were going to be 4-0, but being honest with yourself, did you think you guys had what it took to be 3-1, and again looking towards the playoff berth?
I knew our team had some skill, but I knew we were going to have our little like glitches here and there with our team. But right when camp started, we all started clicking really well, and we all were working really hard in the off season. So I knew we had some talent to bring some like wins in tough games. So I really think that where we are right now is where I expect to be.
Okay.
But at least 4-0.
Okay. So last night, you find yourself, like Tim said, down 10-0, and being an offensive player, watching Haverhill play offense, keeping you off the field, chewing up clock. I think we saw it with the Patriots, with Tom Brady. He get a little frustrated. How do you keep yourself and the rest of the offense that's standing there watching the guys on defense in the game thinking, we're fine, don't worry about it? How do you keep staying positive at that point?
Yeah, that right there. I just go up to all my linemen, all the skill kids that are on the sideline up in the defense. They were fine. 10 points is not that big of a deficit. It's a field goal and a touchdown. And I just keep everyone hyped up on the sideline, chant "Let's go defense," and keep my defense going and get that ball back for me to score.
Is there ever panic, Connor, that you're not going to get those opportunities? You can't rally your team from the sideline. You have to be on the field. You need that stop. Was there ever panic thinking it wasn't going to happen?
No, not really. I know like that my defense had mistakes. Like every other team has mistakes, but right now, like right in the clutch, I knew our defense could stop them and get the ball back for us to score. That's what we did in the second half. So.
Down 10-0 at the half, obviously an emotional night for Haverhill, for everyone in the stadium. But, what was the key to the regrouping at halftime and that first drive coming out in the third quarter?
Yeah, Haverhill showed really a lot of respect for those girls that passed away, and they put their hearts out. But Coach Ryan said before the game that we wanted to not, like, just play for her, but like play for us, play for anyone that has been lost before us, and that's why we really put our hearts out and just respect anyone that was lost before us. So,
I do have a question, Connor. You had a fumble and an interception.
Connor, we tried to turn his mic off. I'm sorry.
He's not picking up the laundry bill. Sorry, forget it.
We'll get to the room later. No, but with the fumble in the interception for the 14 points, the thing that I'm looking for, and I don't see because I'm not at practice, the games. Who are those leaders that are keeping you guys focused? And I'm not seeing a breakdown in adversity when those things are happening. So who are those teammates of yours on the sideline that are just telling people that next play counts?
In the Lowell game, after my third interception, Nick Rosado came over to me and said, "Hey, you have a lot more game. That was just one play. We have over 100 plays in the game, so that's just one play. Don't even worry about it. And just move on. We have a lot more game to play." And that's just like the mentality that we have like all the time, even like in practice. Like I'll throw a pick and like, "Oh, Skelly," I'll get mad, and then I'll move on to the next play. Like it's all a next play mentality.
Connie, how long have you been playing football?
I did 2 years at E. Mm-hmm. But I don't really know how old I was.
So that means you were little.
Yeah.
Started at 6 in the Mill City Maulers in Lawrence.
So okay, so and here's my question. I've always been fascinated with my hometown, my original hometown of Methuen, and football tradition. At what point did you think, I want to be quarterback? Was there somebody you watched, something you saw, or was it just you morphed to quarterback? Like, was it Cal Carroll 100 years ago, or
Jordan Perdomo right in front of you? Yeah.
Tom Brady. Who was it that made you say, I want a quarterback to Methuen Rangers?
My first year, the flag football in Mill City, I played quarterback, then also a football honor. My dad was my coach and always had me play in different positions, but then my 6th grade year, that's when I first started playing quarterback, and that's when I really liked it, just because of him. Like, I heard all the stories about him playing quarterback in high school and just how it sounded fun, and that year I wanted to try.
They were clearly stories, Connor. I saw the stat sheet. It didn't seem like he played that much.
So, Hector, as the lineup looks like we're aligned, I actually played a little quarterback. So.
All right, fair enough. Sorry to interrupt you, Connor. Go ahead.
But I just want to say something, though. That I didn't let him play quarterback growing up, and I think something he said that was important for me was he played all the other positions. I wanted him to know how to play football, and a lot of times people make mistakes of making their kid play a certain position, and for me, I wanted him to love football and play for himself, and I check in with him right before high school. Is you playing this for yourself? Because of the things we're talking about with concussions and injuries, and I wanted him to have a love for the game, and then he got to choose, what position, and for me, it's the most stressful position, so it's crazy to watch. But go ahead, Hector.
So what do you love about the position then, Connor? Talk to me about that.
I just like having the leadership role of the offense, and just like having, not like the pressure, but like just knowing that everyone's behind me and like listening to my words, and just knowing that I'm being the leader out there on the offense.
Okay, so big win last night. What do you do today? Do you celebrate? Do you move on? What's up on the agenda today? I know we had Coach Dubzinski's over apple picking. Are you headed to the Topsfield Fair, Candy Apple? What are you looking for here?
This morning, woke up, watched some film. Not like going over all the good things, but you got to go over the bad things just so I can fix them throughout the week in practice, and just watching a lot of film and play college football. So.
College football. Bill, will you let the kid have a little bit of a life, please?
And the real answer is, who's he going to be hanging out with, Tim?
Farrah! Connor! So, Connor, in terms of just looking ahead here on the schedule, you got Andover next week, homecoming after that against Central Catholic. The tough games don't stop, and I think what I'm most impressed with is we talk about losing so many leaders last year, and as a side note, just awesome to see the alum coming back. That you got Jordan Perdomo, warming you up on the sidelines at halftime. Bryce Smith back, Peter Kwaki, Saul Cespedes, David Kelly. I mean, you name it. They were all right there, just rooting you guys on that big drive. How has this team been able to embrace these big moments, being so young in terms of gelling as a team? How have you guys been able to embrace these constant pressure moments?
We're young, but like we really like to work our hearts out, and I talk to Ricky and Kareem all the time, and like talk about bring back like our 8th grade year when we played really good, and that's just how we are, and we like to embrace the big moments and not let ourselves down. So.
Awesome. Connor, any other quick shout-outs before we let you go in terms of teammates or in terms of just where you guys are at?
A shout out to my whole team for grinding all the time, like every day in practice. Like scout team is always giving us a good look. Just that, and then shout out to my mom, always being on the sideline taking amazing pictures.
No shout out to the front five that are absolutely play in and play out. Yeah, Sam Ferrullo played last night with a fractured toe, and then we were running run plays, and he was pulling through, just powering through, and I was really impressed with his effort last night.
And Dad was behind the camera for a little bit. He was taking some good shots too, but mostly just biting his nails. Connor, huge game once again. Two rushing touchdowns. I mean, the stats don't even. You've had phenomenal stats. You've made just pinpoint, accurate throws, deep throws. You name it, you've delivered so far. Congratulations on the start. Keep it going, and we'll certainly be watching. Hope to have you back on the show.
Of course. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Connor Bryant.
Clean your room.
Quarterback for the Methuen Rangers, now 3-1. Proud dad.
Which one of you two is his father right now?
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's tough watching him. It's tough watching him on the sideline. I haven't been there, but I've seen. I've never had a friend who's a quarterback of the QB. You see it from afar, Hector, as sports writers. But to see it
Welcome
close,
to the Cool Guys Club, Tim.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Cool Guys Club.
Right? We're not nerds anymore. We're friends with the QB dad.
But as a pup owner coach for so many years, and then allowing the really good coaches to coach him in high school, to hear Kareem and Sammy Ferrulo and Isaac Frederick, all kids that I had the opportunity to coach as young kids. We had a kid, J.J. Olette, who's one of their defensive just absolute studs. He is just business to business every play. To see them now as young men and doing this type of stuff is really, really just it's an awesome opportunity.
How about the kid your son brought up, Ricky
Brutus?
No, the other Ricky, who talked to him after the third interception.
Yes, Carrada.
Rosado?
Rosado, yes.
Yeah.
Isaac Rosado, yeah.
How about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
High school kids, this is that, to have that kind of attitude at that point, they're, 60% of the high school kids will be saying to themselves, we got to get somebody in there who can really throw the ball instead of this guy who's a third interception. Man, that's amazing leadership. Easy to see how that translates to it.
I will say this on the sideline. On the sideline, the amount of I don't want to say negative emotion, but like last year's team was a very emotional team.
It happens.
And that's something that someone talked about the previous quarterback, and he's Connor's mentor the last couple of years, and there was a lot of times I was giving him some advice, kind of keep it in check a little bit, and he was really good to Connor say, don't do this. This is something that I've learned over years. I got too emotional, and this team is very even keel. To have Lowell, you have basically 4 huge turnovers, and then still come back for the
on
game
the
last
road.
night. Same thing. They had 2 quick turnovers, 14 points. Most teams would fold and take off, and they just walked out back on the field and said, "Okay, let's do our job." That's the part that it's very surprising. That how do you know that they have that if they've never played before?
As a coach, you try to limit that negativity. Football's an emotional game. It's going to happen. Guys are going to get upset. It happens at every level. All the way up to the pros.
Yeah.
You try to limit it as much as you can. Man, credit a kid like that to come over.
Rosado, yep.
Yeah, it's easy to see how they're off to that such a good start.
I mean, listen, we're homers, and one thing I want to say.
Homers for 11 though, Tim.
Huh?
Homers for 11 different teams.
It's true.
We're homers for the conference.
Absolutely, we're homers for the conference.
Right now, I'd love to hear Drake.
And we're talking a lot about Methuen. It was a big game last night in terms of the conference. It was, it's interesting with this team just to see all the peaks and valleys, like the extremes that they're on right now. When they put together a 44-minute game, it's going to be to see them at 3-1 and they haven't even done that yet. It's an impressive team. So but listen, we've got Darren Watson on the line from North End. I just if you're in Lowell, if you're in Drake, we want your coach on. We want your kids on. We're gonna talk about you. Big win for Lowell last night. Big win for Drake. We're gonna get you. Because we're going to get you on the show because you guys deserve the love as well. But we've got Darren Watson from North Andover on the line with us. Darren, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very well. Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, Hector Longo on with you on MVC Gridiron Weekly.
Yeah, Darren, I don't like you going to another source to get on this show. I don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with Tim undermining my connection.
When you don't text me back, what am I going to do? I got to get guess.
Family squabble after the show.
We got things to work out.
Let's get back to Darren.
Yes, back to Darren.
What's it like being part of the team that everybody's talking about right now up here in Northeast Massachusetts. What's it like being a part of that right now?
I mean, it's an honor, but at the same time, I think we've worked pretty hard to get to this spot.
Now, I would always point back, you being a multi-sport guy, I think you've seen over the years when North Andover wins in basketball, that place is kind of electric when you walk into Crozier. When you guys are winning and Coach Tanglis's program is doing well. Does that translate into football? Coach Dubzinski talked about that a little bit, that you guys are kind of capturing the imagination of the town. Are you feeling it with your classmates, your schoolmates, and with the town that somebody's a little bit excited over there in North Andover?
Yeah, I think everybody's excited with the potential we have in a lot of the sports in North Andover. It's not just basketball and football. I think the senior class this year is very strong all around. So it's like a lot of excitement throughout every sport.
Darren, you're a quality, again, I say multi-sport athlete, a real good multi-sport athlete. What made you stay home and stay at North Andover and want to be there?
Wait, can you say that again?
Why did there were so many choices coming out of 8th grade and a lot of kids. What made you stay home? I think the reason you guys are so good is a lot of kids have stayed home in North Andover. What's the draw at North Andover High School? What do you like about it?
Well, I stayed home just because, I knew a lot of people, and it was just it became a family throughout middle school. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to keep that out throughout high school and hope for something like this to happen one day.
Darren, you had a huge game on every side last night. 12 rushes, 82 yards, touchdown, a couple of big receptions, interception on defense. Tell us a little bit just in terms of, you guys made it to the D2 North final last year, and once again, just huge game after game. Tell us in terms of what it's like to lead this team as it comes together and hits its stride.
Well, I mean, it's good because the kids on our team, we have a really good work ethic, and we try to just, win and go out and win every night and just try to keep pushing. And I've learned from, older kids that we can't slack off. Slacking off's not going to do anything for us. So I just try to push everyone on our team to their best abilities so that we can win every Friday night.
What was it like to see a kid like Freddie Gabin step up last night and just kind of grab that spotlight?
It was honestly amazing to see. Freddie's my guy. I've known Freddie for a while. He's like my little brother. And it was just amazing playing side by side next to him, watching him shine. It honestly touched me. Happy for him.
Darren, as a running back, how important is that line in front of you? Your coach was on earlier and talked about specific players, but
huge.
Just huge. Give some shouts out to some of these guys that are just the kind of the dirt dogs.
I'll shout out Matthew Samanuk, of course, my dog, Johnny Cox, Billy Reed, Timmy Ianaron, all my dogs, Ryan Flattery, all of them.
So do you actually talk to those guys? I realize they're the lower end of the scale, Darren. You're the big star running back, but you actually hang with those guys, huh?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah.
So Hector's trying to create some mud.
Just to talk a little bit about the game last night. What was some matchups last night that were talked about during practice that really stuck out? Because the Tewksbury, the first half of the game was a little tight, and then obviously you guys pulled away. But what was some things that?
Well, we knew they had that number 3 kid. We knew that was their go-to guy, so we just trying to not key on him. Yeah. Not key on him, but just watch out for him. So I thought we did a pretty good job with that. But that was the only matchup we were talking about over the week.
Shade Aylward, yeah, I was looking at the wrong sheet. Shade Aylward was the key.
Yeah.
How tough is their offense to handle? They're very confusing. They try and get angles on you, Darren.
Very confusing. Yeah, they run a lot of weird things.
And so is that in preparation? Is that tough on you mentally, Darren, to jam all that stuff into your mental bank in a week?
I mean, not really. I just think of it as like a part of the game, so you have to get better to do that stuff. And it helps watching film on them, talking about them over and over again. It helped a lot.
Darren, Hector talked about you being a multi-sport athlete. What other sports do you play, and what's kind of your main sport that you picture wanting to continue to play?
Well, football is my main sport, but I play basketball, and I ran track.
Okay.
In terms, tell us just in terms of last night. You guys haven't found yourself in the hole a whole lot during this rise and this run. You're down 7-0 heading into the second quarter. Tell us just in terms of what you saw from your team and responding to that.
Well, I thought that we responded real well when we were down 7-0, because usually we'd get we'd get down on ourselves when we go down, but we just kept fighting and let the game play out.
Couple of big plays. You scored a touchdown. Then Mark Federico comes up with the big fumble recovery and the score. You guys are obviously capable of putting on these runs, but to run off 23 against a teams like Tewksbury. I mean, what were you guys feeling at halftime going in with that recovery in the second quarter?
Well, going into half, we knew that we were going to have to come out with the same energy that we started with, but a little more tense, and because we weren't doing that good on offense, so we were just trying to find what we can do.
Absolutely. Any other shout-outs that you want to give, Darren, before we let you go, in terms of the team, in terms of coaches, parents, anything? You took the time to come on with us. We want to give you the platform for shout-outs.
I'll shout out my guy Jake McElroy, Gabe D'Souza, Sean Nichols, Freddie Gavin, Jaden Mencia, my guys.
Awesome.
Real quick, how about any teachers at the high school that have kind of supported you and made sure that you keep up on the academic side and all that? Anyone stand out for you?
My guy, Mr. Van Horn.
Mr. Van Horn.
What's he teach?
To be honest, I don't even know.
Just someone that's catches in the hallways and like a mentor. That's awesome.
Good stuff, Darren. This is Darren Watson from the Scarlet Knights, 4-0, playing Chelmsford next week. Hey, congrats on the season so far, Darren, and best of luck down the road here, heading into the playoff push. And huge thank you for coming on to MVC Gridiron Weekly.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have me.
Spread the word, Darren. Spread the word for us. We're a fairly new show, but we're trying to spread the love around to the MVC in terms of everything you guys are putting into the game.
All right, I'll spread the word.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
You got
Take it easy.
That's Darren Watson, North Andover Star. You know these guys.
Yeah, no, I've been kind of been back and forth with Darren. Another one who treated my unathletic son very well in basketball, got him the ball. So, good kid. This isn't some crazy science problem. You get good kids who are dedicated, you win, and you have success and you have fun. Being led by good coaches. It's a simple equation. Darren's one of those kids. He puts the team first. You see it in him. You see it from all those guys in North Andover. Again, as long as you get the W, Gabe D'Souza doesn't care, what the numbers are. Get the W, get out. Jake, same way. And that is contagious. That breeds success. And it's, pretty cool to see that now over there.
I like the word you're using, kids, because as they're 16, 17, 18 years old, this is that pivotal time where they're really making these choices about how to become young men. So as people are critical in the stands and people are critical of decisions they make and kind of the whole world's watching, but they're still trying to be kids. And I think, once again, this is why this, for me, is exciting, because you get to see that growth kind of as we go. And even as the interview went along, just he was kind of morphing into doing a better job.
A little bit more comfortable.
Comfortable. And that's the whole point of this, is to give them that platform and talk a little bit about school and life and their friends and, kind of their time.
And fun.
Yeah.
You know, let's continue to make sure it stays fun.
Right.
Great point.
I think that's it's pivotal. I mean, obviously you're a parent of an athlete, and you see parents out there and pressures that are put on these kids with people thinking scholarships in colleges.
And just the way the community, I mean, it's everything for these communities.
So when the kids have fun, it makes for a lot better situation.
But it goes back to something you said earlier. It's about the three sports.
Yeah.
It's about playing, Connor plays football, basketball, and lacrosse. And we didn't do any AAU. There was no off-season extra sport. He didn't play basketball year-round. You can't, that's, to me, is where...
Well, that's a debate that'll rage forever, Bill.
Right, but that, to me, where you hinge on, is it fun or is it a job or a business?
Yeah,
and that's something I always tried to stay away from.
Yeah, just honestly, it's... I think you see that in the final product, the success of these kids. And when I say final product, I don't mean the final score. I mean these kids come out of school, high school, and they're ready for success because somebody somewhere has put it on them that, we want to win, and football's cool. And I look at the emotion from say a Haverhill yesterday. But at the end of the day, it's a sport, and you're growing up and learning to. I will quote something I saw on Twitter, which is not something I like to do, but North Andover, he's Methuen's Rick Gorman. He works over in North Andover. Big basketball guy tweeted this week that, don't put your kids in bubble wrap. Let them succeed and let them fail and be there for them. I found that very telling, honest to God, because no kid should get scarred from high school football, but they can learn a heck of a lot from high school football. And if you do it that way, athletics are a heck of as important as anything.
There's a lot more failure in life than success.
Right. So,
it's guys like Rick Coleman that makes me want to do a basketball show, though.
Yeah.
For someone like him and how much he gives. And,
we're gonna make it happen.
To me, his stuff is off-season training.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between what Rick does off-season and what some of the AAU things that are not really about development. Rick is about development, improving, and getting ready for the season. And I think that's that's where I want to make sure I'm clear that that's off-season.
No, like I say, it's just it's on all different levels, Bill, obviously, but I just think that kind of I tried to protect my son growing up as much as I could, and probably to a fault. So probably should have learned a little bit more. It makes a lot of sense that, hey, I don't want to say it's a positive, but Haverhill can still get a lot out of Friday night's loss.
Oh, absolutely. Just like I was saying with Methuen against Tewksbury. You don't, I mean, listen, it's tough to tell a 16, 17-year-old kid, listen, that's going to be more. That's going to be more to you in the long run than a 40-8 blowout. You know?
And you mentioned Tooks. It's not like Brian Elwood's has not had experience handling defeat.
Yeah.
So dealing with a 40-20 loss to North Andover and rebounding next week.
Well, both Billerica and Tewksbury, two teams that had a strong start, have both come off a tough loss. Billerica to Drake, which is kind of that MVC rivalry, and Tewksbury.
And doesn't that make next week's game so
no, absolutely.
Saturday?
It makes your hair stand up. Those two teams are going to come out fired up.
Right, coming off the tough losses, both the tough first loss. Kind of, you look ahead, you go, wow. That's a place you might want to be on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, field.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, the Houlihan from Billerica has been having a strong season, coming off loss. He's not a kid that likes to lose,
right?
Or takes that lightly. So both teams are going to be fired up all week long, and it's going to be
and that'll be a Saturday afternoon,
right?
With everybody watching.
Yeah.
So we don't want to shortchange. We don't want to shortchange Drake it. 32-14 win, as you mentioned, handing Billerica first loss. I mean, the rise of this program, and to see what Coach Rivers has done, and continue to take little steps. Big win on Thanksgiving against Methuen last year, and then
that was a huge statement win.
Absolutely. And then I mean, it's like one of those things where you can almost kind of look at that game and say, wow, that's gonna carry over. That team is coming on, and they've done it.
Yeah. So now we have to get the Drake people involved.
Absolutely.
Only because I think in my Thanksgiving football is not high on my list. Like, I'm not a big Thanksgiving football guy. I've often said we can do away with it here, but I want to know how much last year's win did for that program.
I was at the game.
Did it inspire those kids in the offseason to work just as hard or harder than they might have? And so, like, I keep an open mind. I'm not a big proponent of it, but like, how important was it? How huge was it? How much did it mean to those kids?
Yeah.
I'll say this. At the game, I thought Methuen had way more talent.
Yes.
And I think they went into that game feeling that way. And, this is hard as a Methuen guy, but it was the first time in a long time, high school-wise, I saw a team that out-willed, out-hearted, out-hustled, and took a victory away from a team I thought was better. So as a coach, as a player that came back, absolutely I think that meant a lot, because it's easy to win with just talent, but if, sounds like what North Andover was talking about, when you have talent, the dedication, you have the heart, and you have a desire to win, that's a dangerous chemistry for a team that, like a town like Drake that loves winning. I mean, talk about a town that gets gets behind every sport. I mean, they play, cornhole, and they're all in, crazy about it to football. So
I have never seen kids. Now, adults will get wrapped up in this sort of stuff, but I've never seen, on both sides of that rivalry coming into that game, I've never seen kids care so much about the overall record in a series.
Oh yeah,
like that was that.
It's so close.
Yeah, it was. They're so close.
Too, so.
And that was Methuen's chance to jump over. Drake knew it, and I mean, but I mean, it's clear. We want to hear from these kids. We want to hear from the coach.
Cam McCullough.
We're going to make it a mission to get Cam McCullough.
My own personal quest.
Yes.
This week is to get on Drake. That's it. I've had enough.
We're gonna get. We want to get Devin Lambert on. We want to get Cam McCullough on. Get Jay Rivers on, because they've got a huge game. And I'll tell you what, especially if they can deliver a win against Acton Boxborough. At home, but still, that is a big out of conference.
Because you talked about going into Barica and how tough that was. They didn't just go in; they kind of put a little bit of a smackdown.
They made a statement. Yeah.
And I think this segues right into our star performers of the week. Devin Lambert. 12 for 18, 229 yards in that game. TD passes of 68 yards to Cam McCullough and 52 yards to Jean Carlos Santiago. Huge, senior QB delivering huge for the Middies. Their defense was on fire last night. 4 sacks, 3 interceptions. 2 of the sacks came from Adil. We'll go with Nijcam, Matthew Simpson, Lucas Bargwin.
It'll be all right.
Yeah,
Keep trying. It'll be
Ayuka Paluka.
Well, being quiet, Bill. Usually you help him out on those.
No, he was all on his own there, man.
Yeah. No, it's just a huge step up from the Drake defense last night in that 32-14 win, and then Lowell 21-0 win over Chelmsford. They both teams. Chelmsford's struggling so far,
but they're fighting. They're showing up. They got a lot of young kids in that team as well. They're not going to be down and out for a long time.
Yeah, that was a game for a while.
Yeah,
that was definitely a game for a while.
And then we haven't mentioned it yet, but Lawrence hung tough with Everett, 35-8. Jacob Tamayo, a good game for Lawrence. Tough game on that schedule when that sort of team is trying to gel and get over the hump in that first victory. So in terms of Lowell, Aiden Foyle, 9 passes, 170 yards, 3 TDs. Brendan Teig, 3 receptions for 75 yards and 2 TDs, 7 carries for 76 yards. And the Lowell defense, 4 sacks by linebackers Rashawn Settles and Brendan Teig, as well as defensive lineman Ty Chan and George Dristrolarius.
Wow.
Bam!
That was
What's
good.
up? I stuck the landing. So great job from Lowell. They've got a big matchup now. You've got on the schedule today. So it's a little bit more drama to play out in this week. You've got Central Catholic and Andover today. Actually tonight at 6 p.m. That's a big game just in terms of how this. The middle of this is playing out right now.
No, absolutely. The whole valley will be there watching.
Yeah.
On this game because it's the only game in town. Interesting to see how Central handles this. Now, I would think Andover still has just the freshman quarterback. The Harrington. Is it Harrington? Yes,
Yep.
the Harrington kid is
Victor.
Right. So Central probably has a little bit of an edge in the game.
Yep.
But interesting to see how they respond from last week. And Andover, I don't think we've talked about, is one of those teams that they are so young they're going to get better. So
yes.
This is a former Thanksgiving rivalry game. This was a long-time Thanksgiving game. So emotions will be high. And again, the crowd will probably be an excellent crowd because it's the only game in town. So kind of raises the stakes, and it makes you think, maybe, the Ramos kid and Andover can keep things together. And now remember, they had some adversity of their own too. I think we focus on the city, so maybe they bounce a little bit here.
Absolutely. And for Central Catholic, they've got 2 games here in 7 days. You got this game today. You got Lowell's coming to them next week. Looking for that statement win on their schedule.
And matchup-wise, Lowell's going to be tough because they have a big, experienced front 7.
Right, and look, nothing has been decided.
No.
Especially in the MVC East/Lowell, the MVC Large. Sorry, a little gripe of mine will but no, nothing's been decided there, so it's still kind of wide open. And I don't know if where we've seen North Andover is legit on the other side, and probably, with all due respect to unbeaten Drake, North Andover is the team that we look to right now. On this side, I don't know who that team is yet.
And we've been saying that all along.
Right.
I like not looking at the matchups until today because every week I'm like, wow, this is the week.
Yeah, every game matters.
Yeah, next week it's like, wow, this is these
one
are
week
great
at a time. Yeah. So
and as long as you stay focused, Tim, on the 1 week at a time, and do your job, and it is what it is. We'll all cliche ourselves right into the ground, and everybody will be happy.
and the coach that came on talking about the details and talking about doing the little things correctly as the season goes.
You almost got Coach Dubzinski away from the Belichick answer.
So speak.
But what's he gonna say in that spot? You know what he's gonna say when the mic's not on. But
he answered it. He said, we wanted Central and we wanted Lowell. His answer was crystal clear.
Yeah.
Crystal clear,
Yes.
Tim Wood. He wants to be part of the MVC. Let's be honest. But he's not going to throw a dig towards the small because Tewksbury, Drake, those teams are no joke.
Yeah, no, that answer wasn't bad. But when he said, I really like McIntosh, but Delicious has its way, and Granny Smith is pretty good too, and I hear that this Gala thing is awesome, okay? When he didn't want to offend any type of apples, that's coach speak. So.
See, I think Gala is the rising prospect. Like McIntosh.
Oh, you're such a bandwagon jumper.
No,
I saw that report too, Tim.
Oh, no,
I'm sticking with the old school. I'm sticking. The Gala's the hottest apple.
Is that
on the
right?
plate. Yes, it is the hottest apple on the plate. Don't give me this. You didn't know.
I was on it. I was on it way,
How would a
way
newspaper
before the
guy know
bandwagon.
about an article?
No, we don't know anything about trends. Yeah. No. You nailed. You nailed.
We have
you nailed me
digressed
there.
just
Vote
a
for our MVC Conference MVP for the week.
Yes.
Lou, that's when you're supposed to come in and kind of clear out the
Where's
room.
the music,
right
Lou, to put him
Where's
out
the
of his
bouncer?
misery here?
Vote for your MVC MVP. Vote for it on our Twitter page, MVC Gridiron Week. Like I said, we've got 4 candidates up there right now. I think it's I put Ricky Brutus up. I put Aiden Foyle from Lowell, Devin Lambert from Drake It, and I put Freddie Gabin up for North Andover. But there's a lot of other guys that probably could be in that mix. A couple of defenses that could be in that mix. So let us know what you think. Let us know who should be the MVP of the week, and we'll report those results next week.
And I'm going to lay a challenge down to anyone from Drake It who can get a Drake It coach or player on. You're getting a gift card to JG's.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing: we're gonna have some contests coming up too over the next couple weeks. We've got some. I've got some passes to Canopy Screamfest to give away for some contests here. So keep watching for that, and we'll spread the word over social, and we'll do some things during the show. Final words, guys. Final words in terms of this week, next week, whatever.
Gabe D'Souza, 25-yard field goal.
Field goal of the week.
Field goal kicker of the week.
Although Justin Sheehan,
Yeah, he's
legit foot last night. We only saw the PATs, and I don't know the kicker from Haverhill, but Haverhill hit a nice field goal last night too. Yeah, to go up 10-0.
The year of the field goals. For me, it's going back to and one of the next polls I'd love to see is if each head coach put up an unsung hero.
Absolutely.
That center like an Aaron Serth, the center from North Andover. These kids that you said it. You're not going to get your name in the paper. You're not going to get the notoriety.
But they're not going to get the wins in the paper either without them.
Right. But those are the staples. Those are the kids that show up. That don't. The coach said it perfectly. This is the kid that I love to coach. Not that the other kids aren't, but this is the kid that shows up, does his job, brings his lunch pail, and that's where for me I want to hear from these coaches, and that's kind of is your job to be promoting these other kids that aren't getting the stats.
And I'll put a challenge on the three of us. Honestly, you hit on it a little bit. Coach Dubzinski hit on it a little bit. Let's start to get on the coaches just in terms of the scholar athletes and who are the big students, the big student leaders. Again, it could be the stars too, but we want to spread the word. Just so much goes into being a student athlete in high school, and the time management and the focus and the effort that's put in, so much beyond just the practices. We want to spread the love in terms of the student, the full picture as well. So
while having fun,
absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Next week, Methuen at Andover, Chelmsford at North Andover, Lowell at Central Catholic, Acton Boxborough at Drake It, Bill Ricka at Tewksbury. Big week in the MVC. Listen, we're having fun so far, and we want to continue hearing from you. Listen, we got some really good viewership on Facebook. Outstanding Twitter run that we're making here. So,
and on Twitter, I'm going to be posting a picture of you leaving Al's Diner after breakfast, looking for Hector.
So, where's Hector? So where's Longo? So, Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, the aforementioned Hector Longo, and you. We will talk, and Lou Blassie behind the glass. Stellar effort as always. Catch us on demand throughout the week. Catch us every Saturday 10 a.m. here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. Have a great week.